The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everybody. This is Jason Hammond from TechExcel. Welcome to our TechExcel webinar today on MyDevSuite. MyDevSuite is actually a brand new iPad or Android application that you can use to access our ALM solution from your tablet. And what I'll be covering today is I'll talk a little bit about what the features are in MyDevSuite and kind of how it works. Next, I'll talk about how you can evaluate MyDevSuite. We'll talk a little bit about our iPad giveaway contest that because you are attending here today, you're entered in to automatically, and how that's going to work coming up. Then I'm actually going to show a demonstration of MyDevSuite along with a brief preview of DevSuite 9.1, which is going to be coming out in August. And then I'll be answering any questions that you might have. So if during the presentation you have any questions, there is a interface in your right where you can enter those. So just look for the section that says questions, enter a question, and then I will see that and answer them at the end of the webinar. Also, this webinar will be recorded and it will be made available in the next week or so. So let's start off by talking a little bit about what MyDevSuite is. MyDevSuite is a new add-on module for users of DevSuite. It supports both iOS and Android tablets, and it allows users to manage the requirements, update tasks and bugs, and in the new version that will be available in August, it will actually allow you to view reports too. And when I show the demo, I actually will be showing 9.1, so I'll show you kind of what it looks like to see those reports and how those new reports and the way we're looking at reports in DevSuite 9.1 is also going to be reflected in the web client for the application also. You also have the ability to share requirements and reports with a built-in online meeting called a cloud meeting that's built right into the application too, so that if you do want to share what is on your tablet and what you're looking at, along with audio with some other colleagues of yours, you can certainly do that too. To evaluate MyDevSuite, users can go right now, even as we speak, to the Apple App Store or Google Play and download the app to their tablet. And they can instantly evaluate it using our sample project. So if you go right now to the App Store on your iPad and download it, what you'll see is a sandbox that allows you to try out some of the functionality that's built into the tool. If you're an existing DevSuite customer and you want to try it and see it with your real data, you can, first off, you have to be on DevSuite 9.01 or above. If you want to see reports and everything, then in August you can install the DevSuite 9.1 beta. Once you've installed, once you're upgraded to the latest version, you just need to install the MyDevSuite server at your site, which you'll be able to download from our download site. Or you can request a hosted MyDevSuite server, which essentially just allows you to connect using a URL that we provide instead of installing anything on your current server. I should mention that the components that you install with MyDevSuite are independent of the components that you currently have in your production systems of DevSuite. So it's an additional web server and a sync service. So trying it out will cause, add no risk to your current production system too. In terms of pricing and deployment, MyDevSuite is free for all installed customers. So all you have to do is download it, and then you can use it with your real data, as long as you have active maintenance, that is. If you want a hosted server, it's available for an additional per user charge of $10 per user per month. Finally, I want to mention a little bit about the MyDevSuite Launch iPad giveaway contest that we have running. So a random winner will be picked from all of the folks attending the webinar today, including yourself, trade show attendees that attended our trade show last month in Las Vegas, and anyone that evaluates MyDevSuite. So we're extending the giveaway until end of August, and you can earn an additional chance to win by evaluating DevSuite. To request an evaluation, you can either download it from the App Store or Google Play, or you can request an evaluation from sales@techexcel.com. So even though you already have a chance to win by attending this webinar, you'll also have additional chances by evaluating it too. So with that, let's take a look at MyDevSuite. So I'm going to be using an emulator today because I'm unable to show the actual content of my iPad with this GoToMeeting. But this is the same interface that you would see. And I'm going to go ahead and log into the sample project. Now, the sample project I'm looking at today is actually based on 9.1. So if you do download it from the App Store today, there will be some slight differences. Most notably, you're not going to have access to the reports. First thing that I'd like to mention about MyDevSuite is the ability to see multiple different DevSuite projects. So I can see KnowledgeWise project. If I want to log in and look at documents that I may have, you'll see the same folder structure that you would see in your current KnowledgeWise project, and you'd see all those knowledge items that you would have too. One of the great things about MyDevSuite is the content's available both online and offline, so that if I do download some items that I want to look at, maybe some documents, and for some reason I'm no longer online, I can still view those in a cached format. When I'm looking at my DevSpec project, for example, I might want to take a look at some of the requirements that I have. So if I look at, for example, let's look at one that might have an attachment. So if I look at a new requirement that I might have, in this case, I can see not only all of the details of that requirement that are in the fields that are present in DevSpec, but I can also see any of the attachments that might be present. So I can click on that attachment. If sound has been recorded using the interface to record sound, I could actually play back that the sound too, and then I can actually scroll through the doc. Now, using the emulator, of course, I'm clicking in specific locations, but when you're using your iPad, you can just swipe to look at other pages and such. All right, so that's kind of an example of what you can do in terms of seeing the requirements and then all the attachments you may have. Additionally, you can update any of these items too, which I'll show you in a minute when we take a look at some of the DevTrack items that we're going to look at. Now, while I'm here looking at DevSpec, I want to show that in addition to being able to just see the folder structure and then all of the items that are here, I can also click on this report icon to view reports too. So any reports that I've created in DevSpec 9.1 are also going to be available here on the right, and I can click on them to view them. We've improved the reporting engine that we're utilizing in 9.1, and when we take a look at the preview of 9.1 in just a few minutes, you'll also see that there is, the way that we're approaching reporting has changed a little bit too. We've enhanced it to make it even easier to use as it relates to kind of where you're at in a development space or iteration. All right, so now let's take a look at, well, actually, before we take a look at DevTrack and see some of how I might view my items and update them in DevTrack, I also want to talk a little bit about the online button down here. So as I already mentioned, anytime that you're online, when you access an item, you're going to be receiving from the server a real copy of the current contents of that item or report, and you're able to update them. When you're offline, you are still able to view that data. You're just going to be viewing it in a cached format, which is something a little bit unique from what you might experience with the current web client. So one nice thing about utilizing your tablet to access your data in DevSuite is it does allow you to, if you need to go outside or if you're on a plane or something like that, you can still review those documents. The other thing that I want to point out is the meeting button. So what the meeting button does is allow you to set up a meeting, and any other users of MyDevSuite can connect to that. And you can do that by clicking the Meet Now button. That'll provide you with a meeting ID, and then you can share that ID with your colleagues, And then what they can see is your screen. So, if you're in a meeting, you might want to have people looking at their iPad, and they can look at the report you wanted to show or review a requirement document with you, whereas each person is viewing it on their own tablet. So let's take a look at updating a DevTrack item from the MyDevSuite interface. So just like we saw in the DevSpec view, when I log into DevTrack, I'm going to see all of my development spaces, my sprints. I'm able to see my backlog, including additional backlog folders that you may have defined. And so let's take a look at some of the items in Sprint 1. I'm able to view all of the tasks that are assigned to me, and I can click on them to view the details and even to edit them. So I can go ahead and edit any of the fields that I might have right on your tablet, and then save them and make those changes to it. So you can actually do the work that you would normally do on the web client directly on your tablet also. DevTrack also features the ability to view other people's work. So if I, in Sprint 1, want to see another team member's work, assuming I have permission, of course, I could then view, say, Matt Peterson's work, and I can even filter by status, too. So maybe I want to see everything that is in progress or needs to be reviewed. So there's a lot of the same functionality that's available in the current web client is also available here in the MyDevSuite client. Additionally, for DevTrack, you're also able to click on the report icon. Maybe I want to see a burn down report. That looks like more of a distribution report. But you're able to see a number of different reports also present in DevTrack also. So all the reports that you add to the system are also going to be available there. So those are kind of the highlights of what you can do with MyDevSuite. I should mention that in a version of MyDevSuite later this year, we'll also be adding in all the dev test projects too, so that testers can update all of their test cases directly from the iPad also. And we're also going to be adding buttons to the interface too, that you can easily move an item from one workflow state to another just by clicking on those icons in the interface too, as opposed to needing to edit them directly. So today, in addition to showing you kind of a fairly brief demonstration of MyDevSuite, I also want to provide you with a look at the new version of DevSuite. So with that, I'm going to move over to my DevSuite 9.1 client and talk a little bit about the changes that we're making to DevSuite that are also, as a direct result of some of the MyDevSuite work. So for users that might be already familiar with DevSpec, what I want to show you is that in 9.1, we've decided to take a different approach to how we're going to provide users with reports. So we're consolidating the report view into the list view, in that as I look at my list view, which might contain my development spaces or specific customer request folders, what I'm going to be able to do is from this view, utilizing the same tree for the purposes of navigation, I'm going to just be able to then switch it to the report view to see for each of these spaces all the reports that I have created. Of course, I can still create global reports that span beyond a specific development space or sub-project, but what it will allow me to do is use these as ways to filter the content that I'm seeing, and then I can click on that report and see it based on everything that's happening in a specific development space. We've also significantly improved the graphic engine that's utilizing these, also made it so that the reports resize to fill all the space, whether it's large or small, so that it's a lot cleaner to view them. These are going to be the same. These are the same reports that you would see on your MyDevSuite tablet or in the web client. We've also done the same thing with DevTrack, so that when I'm in the tracking view and I'm viewing, for example, specific sprints, I can then click the report view and see within that sprint, perhaps my burn down report here, or maybe I wanted to see a distribution report. So the idea really is we're going to continue to use this tree for navigation. You can still see your global reports here, but instead of moving to a completely different view, it's integrated with the list view and the project view that you would already be using. Okay? So that's kind of a very brief demo of MyDevSuite and DevSuite 9.1. This webinar was scheduled for half an hour today, and I'm going to use the remaining few minutes to talk about any questions that people may have. So let's see. I've got a few questions here. Expand this so I can see. Okay. So first question, are you planning to have a similar mobile app for CustomerWise? I see that KnowledgeWise is already available in the mobile app via DevSuite, MyDevSuite. Yes, we are. So one of our initiatives going forward is to allow users of all our tools to utilize tablets and mobile OSs to access their data. We're certainly going to get all of the DevSuite supported first before we move on to CustomerWise and ServiceWise, but we are certainly going to be heading in that direction also. Is there a desktop version of MyDevSuite? You know, there actually is one that I'm able to access here, and I would need to follow up and determine kind of how we're going to, if we are going to be distributing that as a desktop or not. If you are at a desktop client and you are using the web interface, there's going to be additional functionality that's not present in the MyDevSuite client, but I can certainly follow up and see if that is actually going to be something you can download too. Currently, I do have the ability to do that with the version that I have. I'm not 100% sure whether we're going to make that available. If there's enough demand, I think that's quite possible. How about the ServiceWise Customer Web Portal? Certainly, we're planning to make both the portal and the team client available at some point on the iPad. I don't have the timelines for you today, but given that tablets are really changing the way a lot of people are interacting with data and doing business, we're fully committed to supporting them. And yes, MyServiceWise will also be supported along with CustomerWise. They're essentially the same back-end code with just a different focus, whether it be on employees or customers. All right, a question, how to connect to the same MyDevSuite to different versions of DevSuite servers? Good question. Currently, you have to have, DevSuite needs to be at least 9.01 or above, and 9.01 is the current version, though 9.1 will be out as a beta next month, to even access MyDevSuite. So it will always be synchronized via the web service, and they will have to be compatible versions. Is the requirement linked to a DevTrack task to a programmer? How to view such requirement document? So let's go back a little bit to the requirement document you would see in DevSpec. So whether or not a user is going to see these requirements could depend on whether it's assigned to them or whether they're viewing it. I may need to actually reload my emulator. Might be easier just to mention it here. Now, if something is if a work item is assigned to them, then it may be linked to that requirement. Otherwise, the requirement they'll be able to see it by viewing using a different owner. Do we plan on creating a similar Windows 8 Metro app? Currently we don't support Windows 8 Metro, but I'm sure going forward, should the platform catch on, we will also support that also. We're going to, try to stay abreast of whatever the latest technology is. When we upgrade the DevSuite server, do we need to upgrade MyDevSuite? Yes. So it'll just be, going forward, it would be an additional component that would be part of any upgrade that you would have. So it'll just be, if you use, one of our multi-module, deployment solutions, it'd be essentially like upgrading the email service if you're using that. So it would just be another installer that would come in the package. Is it free? Yes, for installed customers, it is free, as long as you have maintenance. So anyone with current maintenance will be able to access MyDevSuite free of charge. For host customers, there is a per month charge due to the data usage of the meetings and such. All right, let's see. Lots of questions still. Let's see. Another question about DevTest. Yes, DevTest will also be supported. We're actually planning to do that by the end of the year, having at least task support and most likely template and task support. Okay, and let's see if that's, I'm going to take just 2 more questions here. So yeah, for the hosted MyDevSuite server, this is a good question. If you're an existing customer and you don't want to install the MyDevSuite server on your current machine, but you would like to evaluate it with your real data, you can request via the sales email a hosted instance of it. So what we do then is we just connect you to our web server on our hosted site, and then you can try it out first. And then if you did want to stick with hosted after that, there would be a per user charge for us to host it. But if you decided you liked the functionality and wanted to use it internally, then of course you can just download it for free and then use it. And then there was just one more comment that having the web portal for service-wise and customer-wise would be very important. Yes, I totally agree. All right. Well, thank you so much for attending today. You have all been entered to win a new iPad, so the 3rd generation iPad. And if you choose to evaluate DevSuite further, you can, receive an additional chance to win an iPad. If you have any questions, if you're an existing customer and you have any questions about MyDevSuite, feel free to reach out to your account manager. And if you are not currently a DevSuite user, feel free to contact us at sales@techexcel.com, and we would be happy to provide you with an evaluation copy. Or you can just go to the App Store and download it and start trying it right now. Thanks so much. Have a great day. And this webinar has been recorded and will be available up on our website next week. Thanks a lot.